Hey, Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen here with KTTC TV. I want to talk about El Nino and La Nina and how the water temperatures out in the Pacific Ocean actually impact our weather patterns here at home in southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. So this winter we were supposed to have a weak La Nina. That means we have to look out in the Pacific in those water temperatures. So typically speaking, the trade winds push the warm waters out into the western Pacific, closer towards Asia. Now, sometimes what can happen is these trade winds are really strong, and eventually a cold pool of water develops along the eastern side of the Pacific. Now, that changes our jet stream across the lower 48. With this weather pattern, it pushes the polar jet a little farther north, meaning you can get some more systems across the upper Midwest. We have cool weather across the northern plains, so the Dakotas, and that Pacific jet pushes farther north too, allowing a drier season towards the Gulf Coast. Now, this year's been a little different. We've really lacked the snowfall across most of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa with big time deficits. The La Nina has been weaker than first expected. So here's been our pattern for 2025 and 2024. Early winter, we had the jet stream, the polar jet farther to the north. That kept most of the snow in northern North Dakota, northern Minnesota, and southern Canada. Then we had a couple of those big Arctic blasts. Remember, we had those temperatures in January with the wind chills dropping close to 40 degrees below zero. So those several Arctic fronts moved through, and that pushed the storm track and the jet stream all the way down to the Gulf. We had record-breaking snowfall along the Gulf of Mexico through Louisiana, New Orleans up to around 8 to 10 inches of snowfall. Some of those Gulf Coast cities have seen more snowfall this winter season than southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. Looking ahead to February from the Climate Prediction Center, I do think we'll have a couple more cold snaps here. We have about a 30 to 40% chance at below average temperatures for the month of February. With the cold temperatures comes maybe the chance of some snowfall from the Climate Prediction Center, also giving us a 30 to 40% chance at above average precipitation for February. What does that all mean? Well, maybe a good chance at some cold snaps and even some snowfall come next month.